what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
I hate when people talk during the movie. Over the line!
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Return to VIDEOTECH.
Whoa.
And we're back. We're winging
back.
it tonight.
We're back in a new episode, maybe.
New episode, probably a couple days later, but we're recording this the same night as our last Catching Up with the Dinguses episode.
Which sucks, Keith, because I put a lot of thought into like what my outfits are going to be for these episodes, and now it's going to be 2 in a row with the same outfit. I just need to be like a lady.
If you're listening and you decide to unsubscribe because Matt's wearing the same outfit,
Like,
be
what
gone.
is this? They were like, I was expecting like a Lady Gaga show with multiple wardrobe changes. What are you drinking? A Lagunitas?
I'm drinking a Lagunitas. Yeah.
Lagunitas, yeah. Just the classic IPA.
Yep, just the classic IPA.
How about this for a fine, Keith?
Sometimes gives me heartburn. That cream ale always gives me something that I don't want to talk about on this podcast.
But this is not just the classic, not just the old Jenny Cream Ale. This is the dry hopped Jenny Cream Ale, which I found and immediately was like, well, need to get this. Describe, Keith, as a hoppy twist on the original.
One of my biggest regrets of recent memory was walking around an antique shop, and this one booth had a Jenny Cream Ale, like old retro bar light that I really wanted.
That's
Didn't
amazing.
you just get one, actually?
Yeah, I have one.
I feel like I saw that around the same time that you sent me that picture, and I was so jealous.
Yeah, I'm slowly collecting things for when I one day have a house with like a bar in it, you know, like in what is it? Happy Christmas? Is that the movie?
Yeah, where they have the tiki bar in the basement.
Yeah, like I aspire to have a basement like that one day. Maybe it won't be tiki style, but like I want like a basement bar that has all sorts of just decorated with vintage, retro, probably like movie posters, things like that. Jenny Cream Ale, bar light. So I'm just like collecting those things now in preparation for when I get to having my dream, basement bar.
All right, real quick, since we're on the subject of like collecting weird movie stuff,
please
let me show you something real fast. Since we're skipping we already did our physical media. This has something to do with movies, so give me 1 second.
Okay, please. I guess we'll filibuster for the listeners at home that Keith is racing across his basement and running back with something that's the size of his body, and it is. Are you gonna go ahead and explain?
It's the mask from the movie Demons as a rug.
Yeah, which was not apparent to me. I couldn't describe it because I didn't know what the hell it was. But now that you mention it, I do recognize it as the mask from Demons as a rug. I'm sure, Keith, that you're making many people very jealous right now.
Yeah, I was really worried that my kid was going to get real scared because I have it like at the bottom of my steps in my basement. So you're like staring at it. When you walk down the steps, you're like staring at it. But she just like stomped on it. She was like, "What's this?" And just like was hopping on it. Not scared at all.
That is great. All right. Well, whether or not this is a new episode has yet to be determined, but it seems like that will be the case. So we're kicking
it's going to be another episode. We'll release them within a couple days of each other, though.
All right. So we're kicking things off with our beloved Blind Buy segment. And for me, this is a movie that I talked about not that long ago, but I've been dying to watch it. And the weather has started to turn here a little bit, Keith. We're starting to get some 50-degree and 60-degree days, and then we'll go back to 30, But like as the weather starts to turn, I'm getting that spring feeling. We've already watched Inherent Vice for the year. I'm just starting to get in that mood. And this cover, I knew as springtime was starting to roll around, this cover just was calling to me. And of course, Keith, I'm talking about Joe Dante's Shout Select 4K version of Matinee, starring John Goodman, which, of course, I had never seen, it being a blind buy. It's from 1990 something. Is it 93? And you ever watch movies and just feel like if this movie didn't come out at this exact time, it was never going to come out? Like,
Yeah.
this feels like one of those movies that it was 93 or bust. Like, if we made it to 95, this movie doesn't exist. I'm telling you.
Well, it takes place in like the 50s or something, right? It's like one of those atomic age kind of.
Yeah, well, it takes place in 62. Like the Cuban Missile Crisis is going on in the.
Okay.
Like it starts off and JFK is like on a television talking about like the Cuban Missile Crisis, essentially.
Okay. I actually haven't seen this, but I've seen people talk about it in videos.
There was something that like Joe Dante was like part of that Spielberg crew. You know, I think Spielberg helped a lot with Gremlins. I think Spielberg may have originally had the pitch that like Gizmo needs to be a hero and not be turned into a gremlin.
Okay.
I think that was maybe his like one of his contributions was like, no, Gizmo needs to be like this heroic sidekick to the people, and that's your movie. That's a big driving point of your movie. Which of course, I mean, maybe that's not true, but I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere. But Joe Dante, Robert Zemeckis, like Spielberg, they were all bringing this sort of weirdness to their movies, I feel like, through the 80s and into the early 90s. This very special, goofy but fun feel. Like another one that I think about all the time is The Burbs, that I feel like also fits into that.
Does this take place mostly in a movie theater too?
It's heavily in a movie theater, but you know they're showing those old classic sci-fi movies, like the type of movies that they're watching on like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Like those movies. It's heavily around those. And John Goodman is a director. I don't know. There's a little bit of a Alfred Hitchcock vibe to him. I mean, he's like smoking a cigar, and you know, it's his movies aren't like Hitchcockian per se, but he is very obsessed with the idea of bringing something so entertainingly unique to audiences, and he's bringing like the idea of like the motion theater, like the chairs aren't moving, but there's things like the idea of
Like
water,
the 4D experience or something?
yeah, like it's raining in the movie, so there's like water dripping on the people in the audience, and you know, not that exactly, but that idea. And he's having like the monster's gonna come off the screen and like interact with the people in the theater, and they're gonna stage killing the monster in the theater, like that idea. And it's just fun. It is definitely weird and goofy, no doubt about it, but it's filmed some on location in Key West where it takes place. I think there's definitely some soundstage shooting as well, and maybe like other parts of Florida, but it takes place in Key West, and there's definitely like some on location filming there. But even just starting out with the JFK stuff, like I love the movie JFK. JFK is probably the most interesting president to me of all time. Obviously, he was assassinated, which has led to its own, you know, all of these conspiracies and stories. And I don't know if you've ever dove deep into that stuff. I got more into it. Well,
there's that show out now, right? The romance show or something.
That's JFK Jr., I think.
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah, I don't know. I've been watching it. Chris has, but
yeah, that's weird for me personally, because when I lived in Massachusetts as a kid, we were just at I don't know, either Cape Cod or Narragansett Beach in Rhode Island. We were somewhere at the beach that day because he was flying like a small private plane or whatever and disappeared. You know, I crashed, whatever. I'd say that because like I can't remember. I'm like, did they actually find the wreckage? I don't know. We were kids, but like, we were at the beach that day, and there was like helicopters out all around searching but we didn't know what happened. Like, because back in the day, pre cell phones and information being in your hand all the time, you just think that there's a bunch of helicopters out, and you're like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on. So you go have a day at the beach, and then you come back, and then all over the news, JFK Jr. Missing, and reported dead. So that always kind of was an odd experience for me as a kid. And it was at the point, like, I didn't even know who JFK was. So like my parents being like, "Oh, it's JFK Jr." I'm like, "Well, who was his dad? Who was JFK Sr.?" Now I know, of course. And I've gotten more into the JFK stuff. I love the movie JFK, and I have watched like Oliver Stone's like documentary about it. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am very interested in it. And I do think it is one of the more tragic things that has happened, that he was assassinated.
Yeah, I'm no historian, so I'm not the person to talk to about that stuff. But I guess, I find that stuff interesting too. I just don't, do research on it.
No worries. It just always brings when that's just like in the mix too. I wasn't expecting that. Now, granted, it has nothing to do with JFK's life and his assassination, but like
Yeah.
it starts off with, early in the movie, it's like him on TV addressing the country, like it's the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I just wasn't expecting that to be a part of it too. And as I'm looking at my 4K, I feel like it's partially damaged. This is that same one that came in that clue that was like destroyed, but it's okay. It looks like it's just a chip missing from the bottom, but I'm not happy. It was from that groove, and I don't think I'm going to order from them again.
That stinks. I think that's the only place to get Shout Factory stuff now, I think.
Okay, so I probably will order from them again just because I like it. I do like Shout Select. Shout Select seems to put out movies that speak to me as well and be up my alley. And then, of course, I'm not the biggest Scream Factory guy, but I definitely have a few, and I think there's going to be more that they're still putting out movies too, right? Or is it just their back catalog?
I haven't been keeping up with it, but I'm pretty sure they're still putting new stuff out.
Okay.
I haven't been keeping up with the news on that since they like closed their website down or whatever. But I feel like it would be big news if they decided to just completely stop putting stuff out.
Well, that's Matinee, Keith. John Goodman playing a kind of eccentric director. He's dating the actress from his movies, which is played by Kathy Moriarty, like the lady from Casper, who I always was a fun, recognizable person in movies because of her distinct voice. You know who I'm talking about?
Who is it? Say again?
Kathy Moriarty. You don't recognize that name?
No, I don't recognize
Can you do a
that name.
quick? Can you do a quick Google? I don't know if you'll recognize her by face, but you would.
From Raging Bull?
Oh, that's true. She is in this as well. You would certainly recognize her by her voice.
I think I recognize her, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was my pick, Keith. Matinee, which I feel like you should watch at some point because, it's partially about movies and does heavily take place in a movie theater, and that meets most of your criteria for what you want out of a movie.
Yeah. No, I've had this in my hand in Barnes and Noble before and just never pulled the trigger. So
it's one
I've
of those,
been interested for a while, but
it's one of those movies that as soon as I was done, I was like, I don't know that I absolutely loved it the first time, but I knew that I was going to want to watch it again.
okay. I'll definitely watch it at some point.
Which is, not a criticism. It's just like, sometimes you get done with something and you're like, okay, well, I wasn't really sure what to expect. It wasn't wildly off from my expectations, but I was just like, this is something that I'm going to want to, I'll probably watch it again, like by this summer,
Yeah.
which is,
Okay.
that's a quick turnaround for me because it's like, I mean, we watch
If
a
it's
lot of
not-
movies.
If it's not Twin Peaks or Mad Men. You're not rewatching stuff that often or that quickly.
Yeah, plus I have like the list of movies that I watch every year, you know, which has grown. There's like certain movies that every year we watch once a year. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's hard to fit this stuff in. Because if I watch something 6 months ago, it feels like I just watched it.
Yeah, I get that.
There's a lot of times where Lindsay will be like, "We just watched that," and I'll be like, "Well, let's check my letterbox because which is actually good for these conversations because there's actually a
It's
log."
the receipts.
And I'll be like, "We watched it in 2022."
It's funny. I used to, when I was a kid, we would rent movies, you know, from VideoTech or other various rental stores, and I remember watching movies like repeatedly. Like I'd watch the same movie that we rented like 3 times in a weekend. But that was before we had Netflix and, you know, everything else. So
I still have that gene, but like, and Lindsay claims to have that gene too, unless it's something that I want to watch over and over.
yeah,
If she wants to watch the same movie, like over the Christmas season, if she wants to watch The Holiday with Jack Black and Cameron Diaz, like, and Kate Winslet, like every night, that's totally okay. If I want to watch Wonder Boys every night, forget it.
I'd say forget it too. That was a mid movie for me.
No, I'm like still in a Wonder Boys mood. Like I guess I've been reading the book too, so that's another reason. But I had those stretches in my life where I would just Dazed and Confused. I mean, there was a summer of my life that I watched Dazed and Confused every night.
Yeah, I think I was there for some of that.
There was a summer where I watched like Alpha Dog like every day.
Yeah.
And Alpha Dog is not. I'm not even like, oh my gosh, Alpha Dog is a masterpiece, and you know belongs in my. I don't even know if Alpha Dog's in my top 250 movies, but like that one summer, I would like the vibe of it was just these kids hanging out in the San Fernando Valley, having fun, dealing drugs. I'm like, all right, that seems like a fun life. Now, granted, they do end up murdering someone.
It's so random that you bring that movie up too, because I mentioned in the last episode when we did when we actually did Physical Media Roundup that I went to Pre-Played with Travis. I picked Alpha Dog up and I was like, dude, I remember like watching this a lot at your place or something.
Me?
We used to watch it at their Corning apartment or whatever. Nobody who's listening cares, but
Yeah. I thought you were saying you remember watching it with me.
maybe we watched it together, but I feel like it was one of those movies along with like Saw 2 that was just always on there.
Well, the truth about my affinity for Alpha Dog is I actually just think Justin Timberlake is so good in it.
Yeah.
Not afraid to admit it. I remember being like seeing him in the trailer and like rolling my eyes about it. And now like my opinion over it, that movie changed the way I thought about him as an actor. I have always thought that he's really good in it. And then, like, you know, he goes on to be in Social Network, which I also think he's really good in.
I was going to say, that was before Social Network, right? Yeah.
It was, yeah. But he has a whole career as an actor now. And he had been in stuff before that, too. Like Black Snake Moan, I think, was before that. But I hadn't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was just completely I was completely blown away by his performance. And I just bought his character. I guess that's... You don't walk away from Alpha Dog being like, oh yeah, you know, Justin Timberlake is Meryl Streep or whatever. But like, I just totally bought that character. I bought a lot of those characters. I thought it's actually directed by John Cassavetes' son, Nick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I just thought he did such a good job with those like young, like 20 something or, you know, 19, 20, 21-year-old dudes. Like I just bought those characters. I thought it was really well executed. And so, yeah, I spent like one summer watching Alpha Dog all the time. So
I don't think I've watched that movie since like 2006. But...
I bought it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember when it actually came out. I was thinking it was more like 2007, but it is right around that time. And I'm just trying to tell you, Keith, that I am the type of dude that can watch the same movie over and over. Okay. That's all I'm trying to tell you. I just want you to know that about me. It doesn't always happen. But like,
I wouldn't think any less of you if you didn't. So
yeah. It's just, I need to like find that wave of like,
Yeah.
maybe the last one was Phantom Thread. Like Phantom Thread was for a while. That was a movie that I would put on to go to bed to like every night. Really like really cozy movies that are about like poisoning your significant other as like an act of love.
Oh man.
So that's Matinee.
Okay. All right, that's Matinee. Should we move on to mine?
Yeah, please.
All right, so my blind buy pick was this. Actually just came out, but I was very excited. I wish I could have seen it in theater, but I don't think it was playing in theaters around me. It's the new movie by Kiyoshi Kurosawa called Cloud. Kiyoshi Kurosawa is the guy who also directed Pulse and Cure. Cure is in the Criterion Collection, and I watched it for the first time not that long ago, but I like loved that movie. I thought it was like one of the best like serial killer thriller type movies. Very like Memories of Murder-ish vibes. Kind of.
I like that.
I don't know what it was about that movie was like just fucking hypnotic and dark and actually scary. Like it's rare for me to like actually feel like creeped out watching a movie, and I actually was like creeped out watching that movie. And it gets like weirdly like, I don't think this is like a spoiler, but it gets like semi supernatural, but not really. It's like mostly grounded in reality.
Yeah, speaking of that feeling, I was probably embarrassingly still scared of too many movies at like an older age, to the point that I'd be like, what's wrong with me? Like I should be like an adult, and these movies still scare me. Like that was still, I couldn't tell you a specific age, but let's just say it was later than it should have been.
Yeah.
However, now I miss it so bad. I now like, so I want to be like scared.
Like I want a little nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to have that feeling where I'm like scared to go to sleep at night or whatever. Like it was just so fun. It was such a fun thing to have as a reaction to movies, where to have something impact you that much. And it would always like, I'd let my imagination run away with me on these things. And now it's just like, whatever imagination I have left is just in my like my pinky fingernail, and that's it. Like I'm barely hanging on.
If that's what you're looking for, I highly recommend you find this Cure movie.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I 100% like credit to the director too, because like it's just like the way he directs these scenes. Like I feel like in modern movies that like directors are so scared to like hang on a shot for a really long time. That's something that he does really well.
Oh yeah.
Almost like The Shining-esque kind of, like maybe that was like an influence on him, I would say.
Love The Shining.
But this is not quite like that. This is like more of kind of like I guess the back says anti-capitalist critique of like society, I guess. Quick like synopsis. It's basically about this guy who is a reseller. He like scalps and buys goods for really cheap and then like makes huge profits on them, which is part of the reason why I was like so interested in this movie. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but like a few years ago, I was like going to garage sales and like buying video games and DVDs and selling them on eBay and stuff.
That's how you got me my Halloween 3 VHS. And
oh right, yeah. And that's part of why this movie was like so interesting. The concept of it is like this dude who resells and stuff, and then these people get together online who he's like ripped off and are basically like out to get revenge on him, and they start like fucking with him, and then it goes like way off the rails. But like me, I just had like a very unique interest in it, I think, because I used to do that a little bit, and I kind of had some weird like psychological thoughts about it. Like
this could have been me.
Yeah. Like I never did like anything like what he does in this movie. Like I was just going to like garage sales and thrift stores and like finding cheap movies and video games and selling them. But what he does is the movie starts off with him buying like all this medical equipment, and it's not really explained like how he finds out about this deal or whatever, but he makes an enormous amount of money off of this one deal where he buys all these medical equipment things. So like the way he's ripping people off is like way scummier, and he's doing like these backdoor deals with people who are like there's this one scene where he buys all these action figures from this shop owner, and then all these people were waiting in line to buy this for like 24 hours or whatever, and then he goes and sells them online. So like a lot of the stuff he's doing is like very scummy, and then he's also selling like counterfeit like designer bags and stuff like that. So yeah, basically that's me defending my own actions, saying like I was never doing the shit that he's doing in here. So like that whole aspect was like very interesting to me, that like I've never seen a movie about like a reseller before. But like it says on the back, it ends up kind of being this like anti-capitalist thing, which I'm also like think is cool,
Totally. Yeah, I'm here for it.
And it ends up being like pretty deep, I would say. One of my favorite endings to a movie in like quite a few years. It gets really dark. But it also has like a kind of like a dark sense of humor too. Like when this group of people who is like out to get revenge on this guy for screwing them over, like when you see some of the stuff that happens with them, it's like one of the guys has this like goofy mask on, and he like doesn't want it because he doesn't like want people to know who he is or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, again, over the top violent too. And that's like one of my favorite things in movies, like almost cartoonish. But again, yeah, like some really creepy scenes too. Just like in Cure. Dude, I could like go on about this movie forever, and I feel like I'm like kind of scatterbrained, just like checking all these boxes. Like I love all these different things about this movie. So needless to say, it was like immediate 5-star from me.
I love it. What year did this come out?
It came, well, the box says 2024, but I think that was like festival release. Like it was not widely available. And I should say, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but this is another Criterion Premieres release. So
oh, okay.
It's like Criterion's sub-label, like the Shrouds, Cronenberg Shrouds.
Yeah,
so it's like Criterion put it out, but there's like no special features. It's just like one interview and a trailer.
All right. Yeah, I see Cure is from 97. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that one's older, but
yeah,
very good also. These are both like 5-star movies for me.
All right, sounds like a heavy recommend. And this was Cloud, right?
Cloud, yeah. I know you're not as into like the Japanese stuff as me. This is a Japanese movie with English subtitles, but
I certainly can be. I mean, I guess I think I'm less into like the animation stuff, but I can be into live action.
I mean, this is more like 70 type vibes, I would say. Like David Fincher-esque, I would say.
You know how to get me into something.
I'm really trying to sell you on these.
Yeah. Well, I love Memories of Murder, right? I mean, I was saying I should do that for the show someday.
I don't know how accurate of a comparison that was, because it's been a long time since I've seen Memory of Murder. But it like in my memory, it had like a similar kind of dark vibe.
And that's actually a Korean movie, right?
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, these are Kurosawa's Japanese, yeah.
Okay, well, very good. Sounds like a few things that I'm going to have to check out or add to my list. I will keep an eye out for Cure. That is in the Criterion, so...
Yeah, that one is like highly regarded too. Like, look it up on Letterboxd. It's probably like a 4 point something.
Okay, we'll do. All right, Val. Very good blind buy segment.
All right, quick break, and we'll come back and do our main event.
Yep.
Okay, we're back, and it's time for the spotlight. This episode, we are doing Be Kind Rewind. Take it away, Matt.
Director Michel Gondry exploded into my universe in 2004 with his mind-bending motion picture, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It was my first experience with both him and acclaimed screenwriter Charlie Kaufman, though it was actually their second team-up. I've gone on at length previously about the films that changed the way one views what the medium can be, and Eternal Sunshine was undoubtedly one of them for me. Someday on this show, we will spend time on what Kaufman brought to cinema. He was ahead of his time with wearing your anxiety on your sleeve and really letting your freak flag fly. But this is not that day. Today, we focus on Gondry, who brought a certain aesthetic that really had its place in both indie film and music from about 2004 to 2009. He had this unique way of blending bubbly practical effects with wounded, vulnerable characters. His follow-up to Eternal Sunshine, The Science of Sleep, certainly captured my interest. It was one of my first experiences of wanting to see a limited release in the theater, but not having a geographically convenient option, which was a disorder that I hadn't experienced up until then. I would eventually pick up a DVD as a blind buy and stumble my way through the experience, trying to cobble together some semblance of an idea about what the movie was about. It's probably overdue for a rewatch as we sit here some 20 years later and I still can't make a strong case that I get it. But regardless, I always found it intriguing. So by the time 2008's Be Kind Rewind was coming to fruition, I considered myself a casual Michel Gondry fan. Somewhere in this era, he directed an episode of Flight of the Conchords. I remember seeing his name in the opening credits, eliciting a smile of recognition. But then that was sort of it. I was aware of him directing Seth Rogen's The Green Hornet, but I never saw it. And now it feels like he just went into some sort of exile, mostly directing features in his home country of France for like the past decade. So Be Kind Rewind was sort of the end of a certain road, at least for as far as we've come. It's a pretty simple comedy that feels like some sort of diminished, surreal version of High Fidelity in a VHS rental store instead of a record store. But for those of us that hold video rental stores in a certain regard, there's a warm rush of nostalgia throughout the 1 hour and 40-minute runtime. I won't bury the lead here. I don't think this is an incredible movie. I don't even think it's a great movie. But it is one that I'm glad it exists. And I enjoy the way it makes me feel. The cast is strange. In one sense, Jack Black is maybe too on the nose, but the co-lead is Mos Def, which fell completely out of left field. Rounding things out, we have Danny Glover, Mia Farrow, and Melanie Diaz, who had an epic 2008 for understated indie comedies with this and Hamlet 2. At its core, I think Be Kind Rewind is about the changing of times and how having a sense of community gets you through it. Having it dressed up with characters trying to make their own movies with goofy effects and a certain DIY spirit is what makes it a worthwhile experience. So without further ado, Return to VideoTech proudly presents our sweeted version of Be Kind Rewind.
Sweeted.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Got through that. Wrote it real quick. Didn't proofread it at all. Made it through.
That was good.
Okay. Overall history with this director, Keith, Michel Gondry. I kind of ran through mine there. What about you?
So it's been a long time since I've revisited any of his movies.
Yeah.
But at this time, around like 2007, 2008, 2009,
yep.
I like really liked this aesthetic, you know?
I'm glad you're saying this because I was going to say in the intro and I was like, I'm going to wait. This is a test for Keith to see what his memory is like because that like 2004 to 2009 era and that aesthetic, I 100% associate with you.
I mean, just look this cover, like the like paper mache cutout, you know, collage type graphic design on this cover.
Yeah.
It's like perfect for evoking like the feelings you get when you're like watching these kinds of movies like The Science of Sleep and and like even with this movie too, like there's like it makes sense for this too because of like all the papercraft stuff, like they're making their own movies. It's just like the indie vibe from that era.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was trying to say, I mean, Michel Gondry also did direct like a bunch of music videos for like indie bands, but I was trying to say, I couldn't really find the words for it. So I just left it at, you know, it was showing up, this aesthetic was showing up in movies and music, but like it permeated into this whole indie music look, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. Like there was bands that I probably can't even think of now, or bands that maybe even weren't even that like popular or ever made it that big, but from that time period that embraced this look.
Yeah, and I was like all about it, as I'm sure you were too at that time. Like we loved that kind of music, you know, like the Strokes and I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the best at the music stuff. That's more of your territory, but
Well, even, this will go too deep for people, but a band that we loved, Fire When Ready,
oh yeah, they
like
had that aesthetic.
yeah, like the artwork on, their first album was very much that, but it goes well beyond. I mean, there was just so many
That's
and
just like the visual aspect of it though. Like they all did have like a similar feeling too.
yeah.
And like that design or aesthetic or whatever you want to call it is like a visual representation of that.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Before we go through the movie, I had said this movie to you a while ago that I felt like it's something we should do. Now, I didn't own it. I did buy a copy because I was like, whatever. It was like $8 from Target or whatever. Like I ordered it from Target, and it was like $8 or $9, and I was like, you know what? I think about this movie. I had only watched it a couple times. I always felt a little bit disappointed by it because I feel like it's not as good as I want it to be. But
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, and I'm definitely. I was just like, you know what? It's a movie that I always come back to, and I just feel like I should own it. So
Yeah.
you've seen. I could buy 9 movies this year, Keith. 3 of them are sitting in this room right now. I have 6 slots left. So, Be Kind, Rewind, Dirty Work, and Network are the 3 that I've purchased, but no regrets. I'm happy to own a copy of Be Kind, Rewind, and yeah. What were you thinking about it? I know you owned a DVD, right? Oh, like before.
Yeah, so this is the same DVD that I've had since like 2008 or whenever this came out or whatever. But it had been a really long time since I rewatched it. I kind of just threw it on while I was putting some IKEA furniture together a couple weeks ago when you kind of had floated the idea of watching this, and I was like, I kind of just had it on in the background, and I was like popping in and out, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe we could do this one. And then when I watched it all the way through a couple days ago, I kind of had similar feelings to you. I was like, the idea is awesome. It's like very us from 2007, 2008, where we're like, let's make a movie, like all-time like list of jobs that I wish I had but never had, working in a
Absolutely.
video rental store.
Totally.
Checks a lot of those boxes, but yeah, ultimately, I don't know. I guess you would consider this like a comedy, but I was not like belly laughing ever really.
Yeah,
that way about a lot of Jack Black comedies. Like it's like I'm chuckling, but I'm not full blown belly laughing.
It does feel like it sort of feels like B material from Jack Black's High Fidelity character. Like,
yeah,
it's like the stuff they would cut of Jack Black. Now, that it seems harsh. That being said, I do like this movie a lot, and I'm glad that it exists. I just don't think it's as good as I want it to be.
Well, I don't think if you like search for other podcasts about this movie, like nothing comes up. So
yeah, I think
I don't think we're alone in thinking that this movie is just like kind of middle of the road. But like you, I'm glad it exists too.
And like, it's not. This won't be it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I will watch this again. That's why I bought it, because I did watch it within the past couple of years. Like, I feel like it's one of those movies that's rarely out there.
Yeah,
I think it was on HBO Max or something within the past year, and I was like, "Oh, Be Kind Rewind's available. I'm gonna watch it." But then I was just like, you know what? I'll just buy it because I will want to watch it again. I know that.
Yeah,
and I do think it actually turned somewhat of a profit, but it was still like a different time. Like, it wasn't considered a hit by any means, but now I feel like if a movie makes any money, it's a success. Like, but back then I feel like this was sort of it in terms of Gondry making, American movies.
Yeah, I did a quick scan of his IMDb, and since this, he's really only done like a ton of music videos and some like TV stuff.
In America, he has I think he has like 4 or 5 movies that he's made in France since
A
this.
ton of shorts, like
Okay.
30 shorts, but
Well,
nothing
yeah.
I've seen.
But even like him directing an episode of Flight of the Conchords in like 2008 or 2009, like that felt like so apropos of the
Yeah.
era.
That's the same exact, paper mache aesthetic.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we'll go through it a bit and just, weigh in with your thoughts. So there's a kind of cool, and I mean cool temperature wise, crossover with jazz music in this movie. Specifically Fats Waller. There in the opening credits, there's voiceover narration from Danny Glover. His character is Elroy Fletcher, who owns the video rental store Be Kind Rewind, which at one point when we were talking about this show, I had said to you, I kind of just wish we could just name the show Be Kind Rewind. And I guess we could because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But like,
I think that name might be taken, though. I think there might be a podcast called that.
Oh,
already.
really? Okay. Yeah. Well, good for them. They certainly weren't taking Return to Videotech because nobody's returning to Videotech except for you and me, buddy. But the opening narration, it's like he's dispelling some myth about people going to Harlem for jazz. He was like, they were actually going to Passaic, New Jersey, which is where this movie takes place. Although it looks, obviously we're outside of New York City. We're still in the New York metropolitan area, I'd say. But the street looks like you're in New York City.
Yeah, I did watch. There's a featurette on the DVD, and I think it actually was the town. Like that's the real name of the town where they really filmed it.
Yeah, yeah.
The featurette was pretty cool though. They were like interviewing a lot of like the local townspeople or whatever, and it kind of like ties into like the themes of the movie of like gentrification and stuff.
Definitely.
But yeah, that was just an interesting little nugget that I got from that.
So the video rental store is being condemned. It does look in rough shape. That being Fletcher, has 60 days to upgrade it or it's going to be demolished. This all tracks. So a lot of there is some weird crossover with this movie and oh shit, Lindsay's going to kill me. Not Sleepless in Seattle. What's the other Tom Hanks like romance movie with Meg Ryan about bookstores? Yeah. Like in You've Got Mail, she owns like the little indie bookstore and Tom Hanks is running like the big brand bookstore, I guess like the big business bookstore, whatever. And in this movie, it's there's no dating going on, but like, there is a local DVD rental store, and that's where everyone, of course, is going now. And this is one of the reasons why I would pick this movie to be something that you and me would talk about, because you and I like can mourn the times of the passing of VHS to DVD, but and there were video stores that were lost over that trend. It was probably less to do with that and more like Blockbuster, like putting those places out of business around the same time.
It is funny, like thinking about and watching this movie now, because now you see a lot of stuff where everybody is nostalgic for Blockbuster.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do kind of remember that time when Blockbuster and like Redbox were taking over, and we were mourning the mom and pop shops a little
Definitely.
bit.
Yeah.
And like they kind of go into that with Mr. Fletcher a little bit later on when he's like taking notes of like they're joking about that, like how the staff doesn't know anything about movies and how they only carry 500 copies of the newest action movie or whatever. And
Right.
it's like it's just funny because now we look back and we're like nostalgic for Blockbuster, but back then we were like diehard movie people were kind of like, well, fuck Blockbuster, like we want the mom and pop shops back.
I know, but like I remember when I was in Massachusetts and I was younger, and there was a Blockbuster in the town we lived in, and there was also a little mom and pop shop. I think it was called Paradise Video, although I've tried to Google it before and you can't even find even a hint not even a hint of a memory of it, if that was the name. But I remember going there with my dad. Like I wanted to go rent a movie, and I wanted him to take me to Blockbuster, and he was like, "No, let's go to this place. Let's give them our business."
Yeah.
And I just didn't. I was like, "That's lame. I want to go to the place with the best selection that has DVDs." Like, and that place did go out of business while I was like still there. So it was like, pre 2002 that place was out of business, and I'm pretty like, they may have had some DVDs, but Blockbuster definitely put them out, but I think that they just didn't even make the transition in the inventory,
Yeah.
So this story resonates well, and it's definitely interesting now because VHS is having like a moment again.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just, I think, like younger kids, kind of like us with vinyl,
Yeah.
Like younger kids wanting to go back and get it. Well, it's partially just getting away from like streaming services and whatnot, but there's like a cool factor to it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's more of like a collectible than, and I'm guilty of it. I have a whole wall of VHS back there you can't really see, but
yeah, I think the argument for vinyl is like it's
better
still
quality.
It's still the best way to listen to music.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people would probably say, what do you mean? Like the best way to listen to music is like in my earbuds, like
Yeah.
alone, but in terms of like convenience, but for like you said, from a quality standpoint, there's a huge contingent of people that will say like listening to like music was meant to be played through a needle. Now, I'm not one of those people. I do collect vinyl records. I like the experience of playing a vinyl record, but I also listen to just as much digital music. Like, I'm not like so hardcore about it. I enjoy the experience of like Lindsay and I will put a record on when we sit down for dinner, and it's, I'll put a jazz record on. It's nice. It's relaxing. It's therapeutic. But like, I'm not crazy about it. Like I like music in all of the ways that it can be enjoyed, but I do like vinyl records. VHS, it's hard for me to say like would I rather watch a VHS or a 4K? I think I'd rather watch a 4K.
Yeah, I mean, my only pushback is like part of the reason why I have all these VHS is just because it's cool and I like looking at the boxes and like
Yeah.
the artwork is awesome and it is just a feel like a warm, fuzzy, nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
But I totally get people who think that VHS is like a stupid way to spend your money. Like it makes sense because it is like the worst quality. But if you're going for the warm, fuzzy, nostalgic feelings, I still do put my Ninja Turtles or my Mortal Kombat VHS in. Like I was just watching Total Recall the other day. Like I do put them in and I do watch them on my old CRT TV, but it is silly. I understand that it's like not.
Well, here's what I'd make a strong case for. What I like the idea that all of those 2-in-1 like combo tube TV with the VCR built into it, that you can just pick up one of those, put it in a random like side room in your house and have like a collection of VHSs. Like I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean it's a hobby. It's not. Yeah.
I don't have that, but like I kind of feel like at some point, again, this can go in my future like basement bar at a future house that I don't currently own. But like that, like I could put like on the bar, you just have a TV sitting at the end of it, and we'll randomly play Mortal Kombat.
I mean,
No.
I do that while I'm like editing the show. I have my little TV over here while I'm like working on my computer. I'll play movies on that.
Yeah, no, and like it is a fun idea for me to think about like which movies I'd specifically want to buy on VHS. Now, granted, like I have not like dove into this world at all, other than like the VHSs that you got me, which I've more kept those as like display pieces. You know?
I mean,
to me-
that's half the reason why I do it. Is just I think the artwork is awesome, and it is just it's fun going out looking for them too. Where you're like, you go to the thrift store and you pick them up for a couple bucks, and you're like, this is awesome. Yeah,
definitely, and the same is true for me with records too. By the way, I just love, I love the find. I love to go out and search, but I also love the big album art.
yeah.
when I think about myself in VHSs that I would probably pick up and have on display, like number one with a bullet for me, the original Top Gun. I mean, come on.
Well, we watched that. That has like a memory associated. We watched that in wherever we were, some island off of.
That to me is such a VHS movie. Probably the original Ghostbusters, which, by the way, I just an aside. I mean, it may be our lowest viewed episode is the Ghostbusters one. I just pay attention to these things. And now maybe Be Kind Rewind will be less, but like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that would have been singled out as something not to watch. I don't know.
You know what I think that what my theory on that is just like it was around Halloween, and I think people just get burnt out on that stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
At a certain point, so
let's go with that, because if it's really that people are like not into Ghostbusters, I would be like, you guys are wrong.
Yeah, I don't think that's the correct assessment. I think people love Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Maybe they just don't love us loving Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's
so
also possible.
I guess the main character of this movie is Mike, who's played by Mos Def. He was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, I rented that back in the day, and I don't know if I even watched it all the way through. So, yeah.
So he works in the store. Fletcher is going on a dude's trip to drink and celebrate the life and career of Fats Waller in a train car, which does sound like something I would pitch to Lindsay as like a, hey, I got to get away for the weekend. And she's like, well, what do you got to do? It's like, well, guess what? I'm like, that's not something you'd be interested in, right? His only instruction to Mike for manning the store is keep Jerry out. This part was making me laugh because it's so stupid.
When he can't figure out, because he's writing it on the on like the fog or whatever of the glass, and then Mike is seeing it in reverse, like mirrored.
Yeah. Right.
And then there's this whole thing where he can't figure out what he's saying, and he's like writing it down. Yeah, that part. And was
it goes on like almost too long, which is what makes it funny.
Yeah. And he doesn't realize it until Jerry is like, it's when he's in the electric, what is that? What do you call that place that he's in?
I wrote electrical station.
Electrical station, yeah.
And then later I wrote electrical plant because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Now, did we watch this movie together or make an attempt to watch this movie together? Do you recall that?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't remember specifically.
I sort of feel like we put this on when I was in Madison, like long ago, like East Washington.
I mean, it was that time period, so it's possible.
Because the one thing I remember from the first time I watched this was the part where Mike and Jerry are trying to break into the electrical plant, and they're like in camouflage, which is like
that
the face paint matches like the chain link of the fence and the signs on the fence, and I lost it.
That got the biggest laugh out of me this time for sure. And the two cops are like just oblivious. It actually works
because it's so absurd that they would actually be lined up.
Yeah,
like, perfectly.
Yeah, but
it is hilarious. Like I love that part still. But yeah, that was the biggest laugh for me. Like the first time I ever watched this. Mm-hmm. So Jerry's played by Jack Black. I did say in the intro it was very on the nose casting, which it's kind of a shot at the movie. Like you're casting Jack Black, that just seems like too. Like, yes, of course. But then on the other hand, it's like it's hard to picture anybody else playing this role.
I was going to say, I can't really think of like another person
I know
that would be good for this role, because it's got to be like a little goofy, like maybe Jim Carrey. But
and he's sort of doing his High Fidelity, his School of Rock character. Maybe a little bit like goofier, a little bit more of a loser, if that's possible. But he doesn't have as many funny moments as he does in those other movies.
Yeah, totally agree. Like I said, this movie was, I was chuckling. I wasn't belly laughing.
Yeah, totally. When we get a glimpse at Jerry's life, it was almost a cautionary tale for me. He's living in an RV next to an electrical station, and he's convinced it's causing him irreparable physical harm, and he's probably right. I don't know. But I was like, at one point I did like, I was watching this with my mom and Lindsay, and I just like said like, this is probably what my life would have been if I hadn't met Lindsay. Me just living in an RV next to an electrical station. I don't really know what they're trying to do. They're trying to sabotage the plant. I don't know the end goal here.
Yeah, I think I was like checked out for a second here because I don't really understand what the goal was either. I think he just like thought that it was like messing with him, like you said.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to get revenge or something. I don't know.
Here's a weird comparison for you, Keith. You're familiar with the 90s animated series of X-Men?
Yeah, I love that. Well, I mean, I guess I say I love it, but I haven't really watched it in forever. The new one on Disney Plus was good though. X-Men 97.
Well, stay with me in the 90s, okay?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the first episode of that, they're like breaking into a plant, and you know when they're escaping, I think
like Morph dies or something.
Morph dies and Beast gets electrocuted and captured, and you're like, wow, this is the first episode.
I'm surprised I remembered that actually.
Yeah, because it was, you know, really
impactful,
quality, important. Yeah, it was era-defying, you know, entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. For some reason, that reminds me of this.
You know what it was reminded me of when he gets. Are you talking about when he gets electrocuted or whatever?
Well, just this whole thing of them trying to break into the plant. And
yeah. It's like we just talked about a couple episodes ago, the Iron Giant, when he gets electrocuted. Yeah. Sure. That's like Jack Black at this point.
So he gets zapped. He becomes magnetized, and they return to the video store, and he subsequently ruins several, if not all, of the VHS tapes at Be Kind Rewind. So a quick way to sink a quickly sinking ship. This place has nowhere good to go, and now you have their one product, which, by the way, I mean, I don't think they're using Excel to like keep track of the revenue streams or any advanced accounting systems, but like, I can't imagine. I mean, obviously the building's about to be condemned, so I don't know if he's paying rent on the place or if he owns the building, but obviously there's not a ton of value in the real estate. But like, the revenue streams for this place, it costs $1 to rent a video.
I was gonna say, I was like shocked, because I didn't remember that. But when one of the customers comes in and is like, "I want my $1 back," you're like, "Whoa, it was $1 to rent a movie back then?"
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, you're not getting to profit quickly.
Mm-hmm. I do remember Redbox was $1. It was like $1 a night or something.
Yeah, Redbox, but they had no overhead. They didn't have to pay any. They didn't have a mic. They didn't have to pay any employees.
Yeah, that's true.
No, Redbox. I think Redbox had a really good product for like a short window of time.
Yeah, I used Redbox all the time for a little while.
You want to know what I felt like Redbox replaced for me? The second run theaters. Remember that kind of explosion of second run theaters where you could go see a movie in the theater for like $1, but it would be like 3 months after it had been in theaters.
Yeah, we used to have one of those here in Madison.
Yeah.
And I saw Parasite in it, in the one that we had here. Now it's
really?
It's not
that
there
recently?
Anymore. Yeah, It closed down shortly after that, but
okay. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh had one that I saw it came. They had brought it back. They brought back the idea of the second run theater, but I do think that one's already like flipped again and plays like new movies. But yeah, my biggest memory with a theater like that is I saw in Massachusetts like the night before or like a couple days before I moved to New York, where you and me would team up to terrorize the town and be loyal fans of Videotech. Right before I moved back to New York, I saw The Bourne Identity in a second run theater.
Nice.
I don't think I ever saw the rest of those Bourne movies either.
Oh, really? They're not bad.
I know people like them. I don't know. I can't say that I really have an opinion on the first one because it was so long ago that I saw it, and obviously I was going through a emotionally tumultuous time, so it's hard to say. But yeah, those movies have just escaped me, I guess.
They're just fun. They're like nowadays it's like you get John Wick, which is like the same type of thing, but way more over the top even.
Okay, so Miss Fallowitz walks into the store to rent Ghostbusters, and this is just after the tapes have been erased. And Miss Fallowitz is played by who? The lead actress of Rosemary's Baby. That's who. Mia Farrow. Yeah. Mike, of course, doesn't want Fletcher to know that they've ruined his life's work. So he decides that him and Jerry will film their own rendition of Ghostbusters. And I think this stuff, the Ghostbusters stuff, I think worked really well for like the trailer for the movie. Mm-hmm. But I think in hindsight, after seeing this movie a couple times, I would probably trim the Ghostbusters stuff and replace it with other stuff.
Yeah, they go heavy on it. I think it's probably just because it's like the first one that they do and they're establishing this whole idea of the movie. But they do go a little long with it. And the movie is like, what, an hour and 40 minutes? They could have just shaved, 10 minutes of that off, maybe. I don't know.
Well, and some of it is really funny. I mean,
like,
Jack Black playing the librarian woman.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Like there is stuff that's really funny. Them using the
it's like Christmas. What do you call that? Like I don't even know what that. It's like the shiny rope.
I was gonna say streamers. I don't know. Like
there's a name for it, and I can't think of it right now. Yeah. But yeah, it's the stuff that you string around your Christmas tree, and it's like on fishing poles or something, and that's supposed to be the.
And that's like the laser beams.
Yeah. Oh, and the Slimer part I thought was pretty good. He's just like wrapped in like see-through green. I don't know what it is, plastic tape or paper or something.
Yeah, so they're shooting all this stuff like handheld camera, like with whatever like art supplies they can buy from like their local Michaels or whatever. And it is good and enjoyable. But I'll smash cut to later in the movie. Later in the movie, they do a montage of all the movies they're making. And I think that there's some really good stuff in those quick cuts.
Yeah. And I don't want to skip ahead too far to it because maybe we'll talk about it again later, but I love how they do that because it's like the cameras, it's like a long one shot where it's like, I don't know, just technically it's really cool because it's like flowing from them shooting one scene from one movie to another one, but it's like in the same location kind of. And it's technically impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. So watching them do this stuff is fun. They, of course, like do the wrong theme song. Lines are either out of place or wrong, and then it's only 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
So next they make Rush Hour 2, which is, I think the way they do this is probably of the dying days in a way that they would do this. You know what I mean? Like are
you referring to Jack Black being Jackie Chan? Yeah. They do a couple things that I kind of had forgotten about where it's like kind of a little bit cringy and like definitely not cool to do that stuff nowadays.
Yeah. Now the second part, I think the later part is him actually doing blackface, which that is addressed within the movie.
Yeah, the way they do that I think is more tasteful than the way they do the Jackie Chan thing. Yeah. Because like the way they do the Jack Black blackface thing is like everybody else around him is like, dude, that's not cool.
Right. And like Danny Glover like takes him outside to explain it to him.
Yeah.
And you don't see the explanation, but you understand what's happening. And it's like, like Jerry is just an idiot.
But they don't give like the same grace to the Jackie Chan stuff. It's like, it's still somewhat racist.
But and it's hard. Obviously they're coming from a place of they think it's innocuous. I think at the time it was probably perceived as innocuous by most viewers, but I think as time has gone on, it's evolved. Like the reaction to these things has evolved to a place of like, no, you probably shouldn't do that, and that's
probably shouldn't have done that.
And not that I don't want to be on this side of the argument because I'm in support of them not doing it. But the one thing I would say is just like, if he's doing an impression, it sounds like a decent impression. Like, it kind of sound like Jackie Chan in that movie. Now, it's like, but you just don't go there because it sounds like you're mocking. But
Yeah.
it does get into this weird thing of just like, well, yeah, but if you're doing an impression of Al Pacino, everybody kind of does the over the top Al Pacino. But I guess
Yeah.
like people associate the Asian thing with hate more. So I get it, right? Like you just don't go there. But it is weird. Like, shouldn't people be like defending like Al Pacino when people are like, and she's got a great ass? Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't people be like, well, you shouldn't do that either? But I don't know. I get that that it's not the same thing. It is.
Well, the good thing is this movie is so like unremembered that it's not even really talked about. I don't ever remember seeing like a single article about this or whatever. So they're probably making a bigger deal out of it than it actually is. But it is just watching it now. It's a little cringy, but
yeah, and I think it just speaks to the way that people like you and me look at this stuff now. Like we probably wouldn't have been fazed by it in 08, but I think like in general, people have evolved for the better and been like, nah, you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
But some of the Rush Hour 2 stuff is kind of funny, and it like if you put that aside, like it brought me back to when Rush Hour 2 was a big movie, which is weird to think about. Like I actually love how they do that too, because it's like kind of just like a visual gag of like the scene where they're both hanging from the pipe or whatever, and they use one of those. It's like a children's mat that looks like a city, you know, but they're filming it from above as they're hanging there. So it like looks like they're like high above a city, but it just looks so stupid. Like I just love their ingenuity and like gung-ho-ness about making these movies and just doing it with like the shittiest, cheapest special effects is one of the aspects of the movie that I like love. No, I agree. I agree with that. And I do think some of these Rush Hour 2 parts are pretty funny. So while filming that one, they do go to recruit Alma. Initially, it's just to have a girl to kiss, so Jerry doesn't have to kiss his mechanic Wilson, which he calls inappropriate.
And that part's like a little cringy now too. Like, I mean, I don't know how we don't need to beat the drum on this more.
They're going to recruit, like not the part that he doesn't want to kiss Wilson, but the fact that he's going to recruit a girl to kiss.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah. It's definitely like kind of icky for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like they do also kind of portray it like he's kind of like, I don't want to kiss a dude. Like,
yeah, that's true. There is like a gay panic, but even in the movie, they're making a joke about that because I do think it's funny that he's like, well, he's my mechanic, and it would be inappropriate for me to kiss my mechanic.
That is pretty funny. Yeah. So also, too, though, the girl is kind of young too. Isn't she, or is she supposed to be like in her 20s or something?
I don't know. They don't address her age, and I guess that is questionable. She seems young.
Yeah,
she was playing a high school character in Hamlet too, which is a great underrated comedy from the same time.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh, I love Hamlet too. It's just like an odd movie, but it's pretty funny. I have a DVD of it. Steve Coogan is in it, and Elizabeth Shue, who's playing herself in it, which is kind of funny. Although ultimately the Alma character does become like the third member of their crew and is a main player, like creatively in what they're doing.
Yeah, she becomes a main crew member for sure. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, what seems like it starts off as like a thankless role because it's like, oh, you're the actress that needs to be here, so like we have a girl on screen and. You know, we can do this kissing scene from Rush Hour 2. That's not really an actual kiss. It's like they're doing the scene from Rush Hour 2 where Jackie Chan there's a bomb in the mouth and he's putting his mouth up to. Wasn't it the girl from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Rush Hour movies in forever.
I know it is wild. I mean, it's been like probably 25 years. You know.
Yeah.
But you forget like Rush Hour 1 and Rush Hour 2 like specifically were like I mean I just remember those being like.
They were huge movies, yeah.
Big movies for our age at the time that have kind of, it feels like they've been completely forgotten. Was there a Rush Hour 4 like in the past 8 years or so? Did that happen?
I don't even know. If there was, I didn't see it.
Filibust for a second. Me neither, but I felt like it got brought back. Maybe I'm making this up, or maybe it was just talked about. But like,
Yeah.
let me see here. Was I because there was a Rush Hour 3, which I only ever watched once and have no memory of.
Yeah.
Okay,
to your
this
point of the Alma character becoming a bigger part of the movie, though, I feel like it was like one part that we haven't really got to yet, but I didn't really like just because it felt so throwaway was Mike sees her as like a love interest and they have this like quirky little like interaction at one point where she's like, you're in love with me, aren't you? Or something. And it just is never fully developed. I don't know. That was like a minor complaint on this watch.
Okay, so I know why I thought this was coming out. Basically, there's an update about Rush Hour 4 being talked about like every 2 years.
And wait, no, it was just in the news recently. I think this is so stupid, but I think like Trump was trying to get it like greenlit or something at Paramount.
Well, I remember, probably Rush Hour 3. Like part of it took place in Paris, and I remember Roman Polanski was in it, which was weird at the time. I didn't even know anything. I didn't even really know Roman Polanski at the time, but I remember I saw it and somebody pointed out to me that he was in it, and I was like, wow, that's weird. I have no other memories of Rush Hour 3. That was 2007 that it was released. Yeah. Rush Hour 4, it looks like we could be getting close to that being a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think I saw an article recently saying like Paramount was like doing it or something, and Trump had something to do with it, I think. I don't know.
So when I was young, I effing loved Chris Tucker. I mean, I loved him in Friday. Yeah. I loved him in Rush Hour. Like, and he kind of just disappeared at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He came back, and when he was in Silver Linings Playbook, I remember that was like a pleasant surprise for me. Just like, you know, I don't know anything about him as a dude, but I just thought when I was young, I thought he was hilarious, and like to see him back in a movie after not feeling like I had seen him in a movie in so long. Yeah, I mean, look, this is Chris Tucker's run. I mean, like, I'll skip some stuff, but it's like 94 House Party 3, playing a character named Johnny Booze. 95 Friday, Dead Presidents. 97 Fifth Element, Money Talks, Jackie Brown. 98 Rush Hour. 2001 Rush Hour 2. 2007 Rush Hour 3. 2012 Silver Linings Playbook. And then randomly in 2016, he was in Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. And then in 2020,
the 90s run was pretty good.
Yeah, but then he only does a movie like once every 5 years after that.
I mean, he probably got his money and is like, I'm chilling now.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. I would go build my bar and finally have a place to put all my little knickknacks I've been collecting.
Had to take a quick break, but we are back now.
So word starts to grow around town that the movies these guys are making are entertaining, although they're probably being laughed at and not with, but it's working. Like, people are getting a kick out of these, and they're telling the patrons of Be Kind Rewind that the movies come from Sweden and therefore cost $20 to rent as opposed to the usual $1. So it's a lot of making things up on the fly. So that leads to the term Sweded, doing the Sweded version of these movies, which is them doing, you know, one take with goofy practical effects. Eventually, many people from the community start to participate in making the movies, including RoboCop, which I do think is a funny one too.
Yeah, his costume is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something that's, you know, that would get a smile out of you.
Yeah. No, I that was one of the better segments for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fletcher's all ready to convert to DVDs. You hit on this earlier. He goes into the store and has an experience and is like, all right, well, maybe we should just do this. But then he becomes aware that Mike and Jerry are actually having an impact. And then we have what I think is one of the more fun sections of the film, where they have this montage of them making a bunch of movies. And then it's like where you just see like one shot, one take of one scene for a couple different things, and it's listing out the movies that they've done.
Mhm.
Like it'll show you like 8 movies, and like one will be highlighted, and that's the one they're showing you a scene of, and you just see like a clip of like Driving Miss Daisy, which I think they had already done once earlier in the movie too. And maybe Godzilla is one of them. No, not Godzilla. Sorry, King Kong.
Yeah.
That's one of them. And I can't remember what they all are, but I think this part works really well. And
Yeah.
I just wish they had figured out a way to maybe have more montage-y type approaches like throughout the whole movie, because I really like the way this montage works here.
Yeah. I talked about it earlier, but I think technically it's an awesome, like one of those long one takes, like from Children of Men or something, you know, where it's like they're going through all these different scenes. I don't know. It's just really cool.
A lot of people compare Be Kind Rewind to Children of Men. They're definitely like on similar tiers, at least for us. So Sigourney Weaver shows up in a big surprise, which obviously works in a couple ways because she's obviously a star of Ghostbusters. And she plays like, I don't know, of some sort of government agent that's...
I thought she was with the studios, like a lawyer or something.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Or maybe it's like the FCC or whatever. Whoever enforces the little FBI warning at the beginning.
Yeah,
like,
which this was right. This ruined our lives. We didn't think that was anybody.
Yeah.
We thought that was just for show.
No, but this is a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is one thing that I associate with VHS more than any other medium is getting those warnings before a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still put those on physical media? Like, I don't feel like you normally see those when you flip one of your discs in.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say. It's not. Yeah.
But it feels like I always remember seeing that warning back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was easier to like, I don't know, record over those or something. Over the analog tape.
I do kind of miss the like commercials they would do, like the anti-piracy commercials. Do you remember those? Yeah. Where it'd be like, you wouldn't steal a car, would you? Don't copy Blade 2.
That is good. One of the things that was rough for me about putting this Blu-ray in it is this was definitely from the era where they were putting that, like, they were putting those anti-smoking commercials. Like,
yeah, that's the first ad that plays on this one, and that song sticks in my head. The one where it's like the guy with the throat thing, and he's like, "You don't always die from tobacco. Sometimes you just lose a lung." And
it's like, all right,
that's
like,
so messed up. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not pro smoking by any means, but it's like, I really don't. I don't know. It's in poor taste. It's like those commercials where they show you all the sad puppies, you know, for the SPCA or whatever, and you're like, listen, I feel for the puppies, but it's like, is this really the way to get my attention? I feel like there's other ways.
Yeah, I mean, it was effective. That song is catchy and sticks in your head.
Yeah, I immediately like put my cigarette out as soon as it started playing. Just kidding. So Sigourney Weaver saying, sorry guys, we got to destroy all the tapes. Well, first they're like scaring the hell out of him because they're like, okay, you're gonna have to pay like $1 billion in
I know. I kind of like that part, like how he's like doing all the math. He's like, it's like $20,000 per tape, and you rented each tape out about 50 times or something. So yeah, you guys are gonna owe about $2 billion if you don't.
But I guess they settle for just destroying everything.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They roll it over with like what is that thing, like a construction roller or something? I don't know what you call that thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know either. Listen, if it has to do with physical labor, you can just assume that I don't know it. So then we have this weird reveal with Fletcher where he had said that Fats Waller had a connection to the building they were in. I don't know if did he say he was born in the building? Is that?
Yeah, so Mike was brought up to believe that Fats grew up or was born in the same building or something.
Yeah.
But Mr. Fletcher tells him, he's like, no, I just told you that when you were a kid as like a bedtime story, and then I didn't want to disappoint you, so I just kept I let you keep thinking that.
Yeah, this would be like if I thought that I was really related to Bing Crosby. And I was still like marching around the world telling people that, like I did when I was in like first grade.
And then all of a sudden your dad's just like, Matt, we just told you that for your birthday one year.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm too literal, guys. You can't do things like that. I accept everything as fact if you say it to me. This is a big bummer to Mike. Though everyone else is like, well, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have believed Fletcher. Fletcher's just defeated, though. And he's like, listen, Mike, I made it up, okay? I'm just a big Fats Waller fan. But this gives Mike the idea that they should do a sweeted version of the Fats Waller story, basically being like, well, he could have lived here. He could have been born here, and let's do that story as a movie. And it gets into kind of like what the final act of the movie is, which is the commute, like, because everyone's got into this now. Like, people have been, like, the people that were renting the movies are now popping up in the movies. It's, one of the things that's behind this, the whole concept is like the idea of indie filmmaking. And, it reminds you of something like Clerks, like just a group of people that really were able to get together and make something that became special and impactful. And I think that's part of the calling card of the movie, and we see this community coming together, and they're all making this movie now.
Yeah, I like the warm, fuzzy, like hopeful feeling of it. Like the movie does end kind of like on a downer, and we're like almost there, but
yeah,
it does have like a nice, warm, fuzzy, hopeful community feeling to it. Yeah, when they all get together to make this last video.
I don't think there's a huge message from the movie, like you said. I mean, I think gentrification is certainly at play, but I think a big part of it is just the changing of times and using community to usher you through from one era to another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the movie does toy with the idea that Mike and Jerry are sort of criminals. They try to destroy the power plant or the electrical plant, sabotage it, but then they do break into West Coast Video.
Yeah, they're trying to steal the projector or something.
Yeah, so they have something to show the sweeted version of the Fats Waller story on, because like everything, their plan is just not well thought out, and basically they're caught by the owner who lets them go because he's so embarrassed that he's living in the store.
Yeah. I didn't fully get that part. Was it explained why he was living in the store? Just because he's like not actually making as much money as he thought he would or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're implying that or if he's having some sort of relationship troubles.
Okay.
I don't
missed a little bit there.
I mean, probably from the movie's perspective, it's the first part that you said, that like the store's not actually doing that well. Mm-hmm. So he's living in the store because he can't afford a place to live. That probably tracks.
Yeah.
Inevitably, they can't raise enough money to save the building. But the whole experience has brought the community together, and they all watch the final product and experience the joy collectively. And that's the end of the movie. I mean, it kind of peters out a little bit, and it's a fairly simple movie. But if you appreciate the Michel Gondry aesthetic, there's definitely some laughs in it. And if you're a physical media person who has a nostalgia around the movie renting experience, which I think Keith and I certainly do, and then also just for anyone who's ever wanted to dabble in making their own movies, which Keith and I certainly were in that camp as well. I just think that if you're that type of person, there's a place in your heart for this movie.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I wouldn't say this, like we've said it a couple times, I wouldn't say this movie is like a masterpiece or anything, but yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, even if you're just like a big time movie fan, I think this is worth watching at least.
Yeah, this to me feels like it should have a cinematograph release. This feels like the type of movie they should put out.
I mean, it's definitely kind of forgotten. Like you never hear people talk about this movie ever, so
we're bringing it back. Although there's definitely parts of it that would be under probably harsh scrutiny by today's standards, and that's okay. But I do think that people would be able to overlook that part, or just, I mean, to some degree, be like, look, I mean, in 2008, things were viewed under a slightly different lens, and we've gotten better since then.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny that I feel like the Robert Downey Jr. Tropic Thunder thing has been like memed and gets brought up all the time now and stuff. But he still has a career and stuff, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not even to say it's been such a long time since I've seen Tropic Thunder. I don't know if that's like how poor of taste that is actually considered now, but
well,
I mean, the joke is like, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that. Like, that's the whole
thing. That's like what they're saying. That's like what the movie's saying. So it's weird, but I guess like the argument is just like, well, you shouldn't even go there as a joke.
Probably shouldn't even do it. Yeah.
So, okay.
Which is valid if it upsets you. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I think I saw Tropic Thunder in the theater, and I don't know if I've ever seen it since then. Now, I do love the stuff with the Ben Stiller character and like the other fake movies that he's in. I don't know if you're
the Tom Cruise stuff is pretty funny too.
Yeah, well, is he supposed to be Harvey Weinstein?
I think that's who he's like trying to emulate.
Yeah, which is now that's insensitive in its own way.
Yeah,
just putting that in a movie. Obviously, like at the time, they didn't know what they were doing in regards to that. But I mean, it is weird.
For sure.
I guess Tropic Thunder. It seems like it would be the most cancelable movie, but I'm kind of with you though. I don't know that. I know it gets super memed, but I don't know. I don't really remember hearing that much outrage about it.
Well, definitely not when it came out. I think it's like more, somewhat recently that people have been like, we get that this was a joke, but maybe probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh, this says that Tom Cruise. Oh, the character's name was Les Grossman. The performance is seen as a pre-Me Too parody of Weinstein's bullying behavior. So, I don't know. It's weird. I can't say that I'll be going back to revisit Tropic Thunder anytime soon, but
I know Kino Lorber put it out, so
yeah, that's true.
It's within the last few years too, I think. So it's like the controversy didn't kill that movie. So
okay, Keith, I think that's good for Be Kind Rewind.
All right, it's time for homework, and once again, Matt assigns me a movie about a cynical writer struggling with creative integrity, maybe
to some degree, yeah. But he had success, and now it's almost like he's being left behind by his partner, who is embracing a more like mainstream approach to art than our hero of this movie would have preferred.
I guess we should say the name of the movie. It's Richard Linklater's one of his 2 new movies this year, Blue Moon. Right? Yeah.
And it's currently streaming on Netflix. So I was like, well, I think I'm just going to assign this to you since, there's at least an easy way for you to watch it.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. It did take a little bit to get into it. Definitely a Matt movie. A lot of just hanging out, talking to a bartender.
Yeah, totally.
Which I'm not against. It was just it kind of had like a little bit of a slow start for me, but once I started seeing what was going on with like his dynamic with his old partner who he's been working with for like 25 years, and then when Margaret Qualley shows up, it gets real interesting for a little bit there.
So this is like quickly moving up my top 10 list of 25. I've now watched it 3 times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to be number 1 or anything, but like I'm just finding myself really enjoying watching it. Well, what did you think of the Ethan Hawke performance?
I mean, I thought it was really good. I think in previous episodes or maybe it was when we were talking about this outside of the show, I can't remember, but mentioned that he kind of just like plays a version of himself in a lot of his movies.
Yeah, I did talk about that.
To me, I wasn't really thinking that he was playing a version of himself. I feel like, is this based on a true story or something? Like these characters were real life people?
They're based on real people. I don't think
I was getting the feeling that this was like the whole reason that Linklater made this movie was maybe he kind of sees himself a little bit in Ethan Hawke's character a little bit.
I think that's probably...
like he's had success, like commercial success with movies like School of Rock and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I feel like he always kind of has been the more like artistic, maybe a little bit more cynical filmmaker.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I hadn't thought of that, but there probably is a reason as to why this guy's story would resonate with him.
But I also didn't think that it was like I really liked how it didn't like demonize the his partner. I can't remember who his partner was.
Richard Rogers.
Richard Rogers. It almost like, I don't really know how to explain it. It almost was like saying like it's okay to go and like make a Marvel movie or like do Oklahoma or whatever, or do the crowd pleaser, because if that's the kind of entertainment that like resonates with the majority of audiences and just like makes them feel happy for a couple hours, like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that was like part of the message of the movie, which I really dug, because I feel like that's kind of like our taste a little bit, is like we like the more cynical artistic stuff. Yeah. That like, I don't really know a better way to describe it, like the cynical stuff, but we can also enjoy, Star Wars and stuff like that too.
Definitely. And I think this movie tells both sides of that story well. It makes a strong case for both arguments, because it's like Lorenz Hart, who's the Ethan Hawke character, is like basically, because Rogers and his new partner Oscar Hammerstein, Lindsay would slap me for saying it wrong. She's a big time. Lindsay loves her musicals. I mean, we got the Oklahoma record downstairs. But they would go on to have more mainstream success, whereas like Lorenz Hart is obsessed with the idea of, he wants to make something big and popular, but like with depth, and maybe not something that what he feels is like beneath them. Which the title Blue Moon, he that's like, that was the most popular song, maybe the most popular song that he had with Rogers, and he feels like that one is like lame. Yeah. So that's like part of it. That's part of the argument and where the movie gets its title. But on the Richard Rogers side of the argument, he's like, Hart, you are this great artist who taught me and brought me along, but the reason why I'm even like branching out and wanting to do like different stuff and distance myself from you is because you're like an absolute alcoholic, like wreck.
Yeah.
Who doesn't
impossible to work with and insufferable to hang out with. Like Chris, I was watching it with Chris. She kind of passed out like halfway through, but she's like, this guy is so annoying. And I kind of got that a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know. Is there anybody like this that we've hung out with?
Me.
Yeah. I kind of like hanging out with you,
It's like a bleeding heart in a bar.
You're not nearly as cynical as he is in this movie, I don't think.
I know. Yeah, he is kind of an ass about that stuff, but I think he does have endearing qualities as well. And you're meeting him at a moment where his former partner is having the biggest success that he's ever had.
I mean, he's clearly jealous, and that's like not a good trait to have, I guess, but it's understandable.
Yeah.
The Margaret Qualley stuff is interesting too, because it kind of makes you like not like him that much, or at least it did for me a little bit, but at the same time you feel bad for him because he's like so lonely. And like we were talking about Jacob Elordi being like super tall, and I don't know why I was thinking about this movie, because they like make him look really short.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they should do that with Jacob Elordi for you or something.
Yeah, they needed that. Yeah, Jacob Elordi needs like the Ethan Hawke Blue Moon effect.
Yeah, I did find a good portion of this movie to be like very sad too. Like specifically when she ends up like going off to this other party, and he keeps like he's like playing it up like he's like trying to invite people, saying he's having like a party at his house, when
And
clearly
nobody's
there's a
going.
way more bumping party happening somewhere else that nobody's gonna show up to his party, you know?
Listen,
And
I
it's
mean,
very sad.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there was definitely parts of it that were like that were hitting like way too close to home about like
Yeah.
my past hanging out in bars.
So we had, when I lived in Florida,
Yeah.
we had a Halloween party at our house one time, me and Chris, and like I invited a bunch of people from work, and it got to be like 11 o'clock or something, and I was like, nobody's showing up. So I like just started chugging. Chris made these Jello shots, and I was just drinking like full red cups full. I was like, nobody's coming. Like a couple people came over, but like nobody's coming.
Yeah.
They all came over, and I had my Halloween costume that year I was the dude from Alien where the chest burster came out. So I had this like, I literally I was passed out on the couch in the living room with the alien sticking out of my chest. I was passed out drunk on the couch. And then all these people from my work came over. They showed up like half hour after I was like passed out. But I was having like those thoughts. I was like, oh my God, I invited all these people over and nobody's going to show up. That's what I was thinking of when I was watching this.
Well, so I told you the first time that I was really blown away by the script, like the way that they're working, like the dialogue is like, it's swerving its way through the story. Like there's a line that's said and then it gets mirrored back later. Like there's a lot of that happening throughout, a lot of back and forth with the patrons in the bar. Randomly, is it E.B. White, the guy who wrote like Charlotte's Web and Stuart Little or whatever, is like happens to be in the bar that night too, and they have like a whole exchange with him. But Lorenz Hart is having like a back and forth with, is it Bobby Cannavale or whatever
Is that the piano player?
No, it's the bartender.
Oh, yeah.
And-
I don't remember what that guy's name.
And he they do the thing where he's like, what's the best line in Casablanca? And he's like, nobody ever loved me that much. And when they have that coat room scene with Margaret Qualley and Ethan Hawke, and that's like the long kind of main set piece of the movie, she's telling him this story about, you know, this guy that she's in love with or whatever, and she's like asking if he can relate to that, and he goes, nobody ever loved me that much. It's like they're just working these lines like back into the movie, and I enjoyed that element of it. There's another part where when he introduces the Margaret Qualley character to Richard Rodgers, and he's obviously like, you know, he's obviously taken aback by her a little bit. She's beautiful and charismatic. And he asks Larry, he's like,
where's your wife?
Well, that's good. That part is good. But like when he asks Larry, like, are you in love with her or something? And he's like, I am. I mean, everyone in this bar is in love with her.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
You remember the days, Keith, of being in a bar like that?
Yeah.
Well, probably not one this nice.
Long gone. Those days are long gone.
Yeah. Now they turn you away at the door.
Yeah.
Like you're too old. But yeah, I have found this movie has a magnetic pull with me, and it keeps sucking me back in now. I will say the first time I watched it, I was impressed with Ethan Hawke's performance, but I do feel like it's a bit much, or it takes some settling into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more comfortable with it now. The first time I watched it, I was like I said, good, but like this is a lot what you're doing, and but now I'm totally at ease with it, and this is going to be the next movie that I put on all the time. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I don't remember what I rated it, but I'm glad I watched it. I don't think it's like knocking, you know, Dazed and Confused or any of the before trilogy movies off my like top of the list for Linklater.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think that's
I
fair.
liked it.
No, I think that's a fair assessment. All right. So you assigned me Sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
which I was pretty sure I had a DVD of, but I couldn't find it. I could not find it. So it must be Brittany has it, because I definitely did buy the DVD. But
So how did you watch it?
I rented it off Amazon.
Oh, I was wondering if it wasn't available because last time I was in my used store, they had a Blu-ray of it, and it was like in the glass case, and they're asking like $40 for it. I was like, is this one like out of print or something and hard to find? Because $40 for a Blu-ray is kind of steep.
So I think I when I bought it back in the day, I think I just watched it on like some like hungover like Saturday or Sunday, and I just like put it on and fell asleep like a half hour into it, and I just never went back. But I remembered thinking to myself at the time that it was kind of fun that like Cillian Murphy and Chris Evans were like the two leads. It just felt like unique casting to me at the time. Now I know Cillian Murphy had been in 28 Days Later with Danny Boyle, and this was like a reteam or a team up again. But Chris Evans, I mean, I don't know where this. I don't. The Captain America stuff hadn't started yet, right? I don't think.
I think this is pre-Captain America, yeah, because this is like
Johnny Storm and Fantastic Four.
I think he might have been in Fantastic Four before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was like 2007, I think.
Yeah. But I felt like that was kind of fun, and the cast overall, that Michelle Yeoh or whatever Yeoh, I don't know how you pronounce it.
And Rose Byrne's in it too.
Yeah, young Rose Byrne, who had been in Troy previously. So it's kind of a fun cast. And
I really like I don't know why I just really like the Hiroki Sanada guy.
Is that the guy that plays the captain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in like The Last Samurai, and wasn't he in like some Nolan movies or something too? No, I'm getting him mixed up with somebody else.
Yeah, that's the other guy from The Last Samurai, Ken Wantabe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's in John Wick, Mortal Kombat. Like he's in.
Yeah, I think he might have been in like the last season of Lost or something too.
He's also in another space movie that I really like, that I always talk about, Life.
Oh yeah. Oh, fun. Okay. Yeah, I like that guy too. He just has like a cool, distinct look about him.
Yeah. He looks
like
awesome.
A silent assassin.
He's a cool looking dude.
Yeah.
He's like Mads Mikkelsen. Like they both have very striking facial features, and
yeah,
I don't know. Just looks like a cool dude.
You'd love to look like that and like be like walk into a bar. That they would definitely let you into the bar if you looked like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not the joke that you do look like. No, very cool guy. And Keith, you're a very cool guy as well.
Oh, thank you.
So something that does really jump out to me about this movie is this is one of those movies where the score has like transcended the movie. Like,
yeah,
that score is used in, I mean, it was in The Last Dance. That like Adagio in D minor or whatever that they play. When that guy dies, the captain guy. And then they play it again at the end. Like the Cillian Murphy big action sequence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That score has been used in like all sorts of like sports videos and like other movies. Like I think it's in Kick-Ass also.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's been
That's
used.
cool. I'm not like connecting the dots, but I believe you.
Well, it's like the song from Requiem for a Dream, where like that ended up being used in like a million like movie trailers and at like sporting events and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I gotta watch it again. I put this movie in last night. I said we were supposed to record yesterday, and I was like, oh great. We had to cancel, so I was like, I'm gonna watch this again. And no, I fell asleep like 10 minutes in. So it's been a couple of years since I've actually watched this, but I am a big fan though. You know that.
Yes, I do know that. And I do feel like it's sort of a forgotten or overlooked like sci-fi thriller that I don't know. It does have a little bit of an understated quality to it. Like it doesn't feel like that big of a movie.
Yeah, I mean, typically space, end of the world movies feel like more like blockbusters than this one does. I get what you're saying, but it is Danny Boyle, who's kind of known for doing like kind of quirky takes on like genre films.
Yeah, I mean, it did have a $40 million budget, but that's kind of cheap for a big space movie.
Yeah,
where you expect like a lot of special effects and whatnot.
Yeah.
Alex, it was another Alex Garland script who he worked with, pretty regularly back then. And Alex Garland went on to have like his own very solid directorial career. So it's just cool that there was this period of time where they were constantly like working together on movies.
Yeah. This was one of the first Blu-rays I ever bought. I specifically remember our friend Joe Fish had it on Blu-ray, and I think he was like the first one in our house that got a flat screen like HD TV.
Yeah, back when they were like $1,500 or something.
Yeah, and like a PS3 to play the Blu-rays on or whatever, and the Blu-ray players were like super expensive, so he got a PS3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I followed suit. I remember watching it in his room and just being blown away by some of those shots, like in the sunroom where they're like the viewing room or whatever. I was just like, oh my God, this looks incredible. Like some of the special effects I think looked awesome for the time. I don't know how well they hold up now, but
decently. Not bad. I mean, it's rough going from like Interstellar to this.
Yeah,
It's
which
like,
we just talked about.
the
So,
production
yeah.
value of Interstellar is like so off the charts. So that was like
Yeah.
a little bit jarring for me because it's definitely like a step down in terms of overall like scope.
Yeah. I do think the story is like incredible though.
Yeah, the story is cool. And I just Danny Boyle, like it's nice that he's like back in the mix now. Like
Yeah.
you talked about now he didn't direct Bone Temple, I don't think, right?
No, he did 28 years
Years
later.
later, yeah.
I think there's talk of them bringing him back for the next installment though.
I mean, he was definitely a director that I considered myself a big fan of.
Yeah. I
During
mean,
this
Train
time
Spotting
period.
was a big one for us growing up too.
I liked The Beach too. I mean, I know,
Yeah.
you know, I think The Beach probably doesn't hold up that well, but like me seeing it at a young age thought it was a cool movie back then. And I kind of followed Danny Boyle for a while. I mean, I feel like, you know, Slumdog Millionaire is maybe a movie that like had that big moment like the year it came out and then was like completely gone. I've never gone back and rewatched it.
Yeah.
But he had a slew of cool movies. Obviously 28 Days Later, and this one's right in there and right in that era. And then I don't know, he just sort of disappeared for me. So I am glad he's back, you know, at the center of the cultural zeitgeist, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, you and me will probably have to watch Sunshine together. I feel like at some point we got to put it on that list.
Yeah.
But
Next time you come out here, if that
Yeah.
ever happens again, we're watching it on the projector down here.
You did bring me back to that Joe Fish story you were telling. It brought me back because I can remember being on the phone with like Travis when Joe Fish was like buying Blu-rays, and Joe, I remember being told that he had bought like I think Band of Brothers on Blu-ray and also The Last Waltz, and I was like green with jealous rage.
I remember borrowing his like tin can special edition of Band of Brothers, and that's how I first watched it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, great times in physical media archives. All right, man. Well, should we wrap here?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. I know this was kind of a little bit shorter episode, but we'll be back again soon with more physical media and bad jokes. I don't know how to end this. I'm running out of steam here. Thanks everybody for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a rating and review on Spotify or Apple. That helps get the word out there. All right. We'll see you in the next episode.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
I hate when people talk during the movie. Over the line!
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Return to VIDEOTECH.